While we're on the, we were just on the Maple Leafs topic. I know we went long on that segment. Should we talk about our former head coach headed to Toronto? Pack your bags, sir. Get your passport ready. Lane Lambert is going to Toronto to be an associate coach with Craig Berube. What was your reaction when you saw that news earlier?
I'm kind of surprised in a way, right? Like, I didn't think that Toronto would be like, let's get this guy in here. Because we got to remember what Lane Lambert was all about, specifically as an associate coach. He was responsible for the forwards. Ain't no problem with the forwards in Toronto. The problem is defense. This is not his thing, man.
I absolutely loved the articles that were like talking about 2021 and previous New York Islanders. Whereas like, bringing the Leafs need defensive structure, and Lane Lambert comes from the Barry Trotz tree, and they have defensive. Did you watch any of the Islander games the last 24 months? Pick any one of those out of a hat, and let me know if you saw a good defensive structure from the Islanders in those games. So I don't think they're getting what they think they are with Lane Lambert. I will say though, to their credit, Lane seemed fine as an assistant coach. We know he was definitely in over his head as a head coach. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's fine, but I don't see him as the guy who's turning around the Leafs defensive structure.
No, I don't know what he's going to be responsible for there,
Right.
but I can only assume it's going to be forwards because, again, defense wasn't his. It wasn't. We saw it plainly when he became a head coach, and we thought, you've been around Barry Trotz so much, there must be some sort of derivative knowledge. You got secondhand knowledge in terms of playing defense that you picked up from him, and that wasn't the case clearly. So good luck, Toronto, with that. My favorite reactions are like, he got the best out of Noah Dobson and Matthew Barzal. Because all of a sudden they went from like 60-point players and 50-point players under Barry Trotz to 70-point per game players. That's not getting the best out of them. It's getting a lot more points out of them, but that's certainly going to happen when you play Noah Dobson another 4 minutes on average a night. It's going to happen, man.
Yeah.
And you score more goals. Like, he scored fewer goals. So it wasn't like he was responsible for the goal scoring necessarily. He had quite a few primary assists. And Noah Dobson be good, for sure. But I'm not saying that that Lane Lambert reinvented Noah Dobson and Matthew Barzal. By no stretch am I saying
No, God, no. I wouldn't.
Specifically,
Barzy.
So. Again, he was responsible for the forwards. So when Matthew Barzal wasn't at his best in terms of points, Lane Lambert was the coach responsible for that, man. That was his job.
Right. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Like you said, you can't give him credit for those guys and their points popping off. I don't think that's fair.
No, I don't think so either. Sure, he has something to do with it because he opened up a more offensive system, leading to these more offensive guys to do their thing. But let's just not act like he was some sort of revolutionary, like Barry Trotz did with Brock Nelson. Right? That's not what happened here.
No. The Brock one was much more obvious, too, by the way. Like, that was a much bigger jump and a much more obvious jump. And for these guys, that wasn't exactly the same.
Yeah, like, it's not like he brought Matthew Barzal from the fourth line and put him on the top line. And, oh, look at that, you got a point per game player. Like Barry Trotz effectively did with Brock Nelson, moving him from the third line wing where he was invisible to second line center and flourished. That's not what happened with either Matthew Barzal or Noah Dobson. They played the same role. They just got more minutes and put up more points in what was a more offensive system, which sure, some of that credit to him for having a more offensive system. But he didn't have a good defensive system, so it wasn't really that good.
They were horrific in their own end. So does it really matter? And the team stunk with him. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Again, I don't know if he's going to get the credit on that one.
Exactly. So good luck in Toronto. You're right. Like me, he's clearly a better number 2. So good job by him. And he gets the associate, right? So he's not just the assistant. He gets a little bump up for that.
What's the difference? So explain it to me like I'm 5. Ceremonial.
Completely. It's to make him feel like a big boy.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. You're getting the same role. The pay's maybe a little higher, but like you're maybe effectively the number 2, although you would be anyways. But it's not like if they can Craig Berube, you're immediately the next one in the chair. No, it's not necessarily what it means, man.
No. But what if we get like Craig Berube suspension and Lane Lambert and his slick back hair have to coach the Leafs for like 2 games?
Well, thankfully he plays for the Leafs. They can afford a lot of hair gel. So I can't wait for the eventual collapse from a 5-2 lead and Toronto loses their mind.
Oh, it's coming. It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah. Can't wait. Can't friggin' wait. Just to be like, told you so. Told you, man.
It happens, man.
If you like that, make sure to subscribe to Up the Turnpike on Patreon for more exclusive New York Islanders content.